90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Welcome back to the diary room. The diary room.
The diary room.
The diary room.
The diary room.
The diary room. We are back, locked in the diary room. If you are unaware, this might not be your favorite, definitely my favorite Big Brother commentary show on the airwaves. My name is just Chris, and we talk Big Brother here, and I say we because I am joined with my co-host. Hello.
Hello, 'tis I, Emo.
Welcome.
Back in the diary room.
I don't know why I say welcome, like we haven't been locked in here for, how many weeks?
Many.
About
11? 12?
Well,
11
yeah.
and a half?
Yes.
Many.
Definitely a half somewhere in there.
Yeah.
For sure. After all that wonky scheduling that
Wonk.
CBS decided to smack us with at the end of the season, which I was not very fond of, if I do say so myself. What an intro. Welcome to the diary room.
The diary
This is the
room.
diary room. We talk about Big Brother. If you don't know what Big Brother is, well, I got news for you. It's over.
You're a little bit late, but we could tell you what you missed.
That's very true. This was the final week. Quite possibly the most unique / I want to use the word interesting to describe this end game, because there are few adjectives to describe this end game. It has been extremely different than past seasons, as we'll get into in just a moment, because even starting off with Wednesday, somebody went home.
Dun, dun, dun.
We had somebody go home because they're going into Wednesday. We had five people.
Yeah.
5 people were still in the house.
The last time we spoke.
The last time we spoke,
5 whole people.
5 people were still in the house, and now there's one winner. And how did we get here?
Now there's nobody, actually. It's just
well, yeah,
Julie
it's just
Chen
a parking
pacing
lot.
the halls of a parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what she does on her time outside of the Big Brother house. I wonder she might just live there.
Host God 101
Yeah.
in the HOH room.
But yeah, either way, it was a wonky final week. But moving right into Wednesday, you may be extremely concerned at how they could have possibly sent 2 people home in the span of 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically they sent 4 people home, but the final HOH is always, it's the same every year, so it was like we had one more episode. But they sent 2 people home in 2 days on Wednesday and Thursday because of this twist that wasn't super well explained. The Mastermind's month of mayhem.
The twist is called they didn't schedule everything correctly, and they needed to make up for that.
And that is exactly what the twist is.
But they called it the month of mayhem,
yes.
and they blamed the mastermind.
Yeah. It was with the jankiness.
Janky
I
mentioned.
said his name. He was mentioned in the episode too.
I was so excited.
Yes, our resident little guy.
I love little guy. Shout out Janky.
Shout
Bring
out.
back my boy Janky.
He was mentioned in the finale. It was a great finale. We have to get there. We're gonna get there. We still have to get through Wednesday. Kicking it off though, where we left off, we had Vinny, who is our HOH, going into Wednesday, and obviously he's dominating Keanu and Ava because he wants to make Morgan happy, and that means Ashley is safe.
Obvious to everyone but Keanu.
Exactly. And oh my gosh, I have gone on record a million times, love Keanu, great player, but man, why, like, you're pledging your allegiance to this person who doesn't care about you whatsoever, and it's a little cring when you're like, I just got to do this myself, like always. Dude, it's been so obvious the entire time that you have been by yourself.
Well, it is obvious to many.
Yes,
and
except
not
for him.
Keanu.
Somehow.
He's got what is it? The whole season they're like, "Oh, you got so and so goggles." That was their thing. Keanu's got Vince goggles. Vince was selling them by the dozen day one. Who wants these goggles? Who wants to not see my schemes? And he was so obvious with it the whole time. And unfortunately, Keanu thought the best in his bro.
Yeah.
And it got him in on the block in the mastermind sanctum. Voodoo doll on the table.
Voodoo doll on the table, indeed. But yeah, I mean, the whole like sanctum thing that was happening. We're just keeping house here, of course, because it is Wednesday and we still have another 3 days of Big Brother to cover. But Wednesday was the veto. Like, it naturally left off on the veto, but production obviously needed to speed things up a bit. So let's move into the veto. We had Tiny create puzzle using tweezer. Might be my least favorite competition.
Really?
Definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. It's not fun to watch. It's not. 90% of the time, the outcome is very disappointing. At least every time that they've done it, I don't think the person that I wanted to win has won.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, there's a relatively new competition they've started doing in like the past 3 years. Did they do it on 25? I don't know. I know they did it last year. Obviously.
I forgot.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't watch 25. I feel like that somehow manages to work its way into all of our episodes. But yeah. That's like the one modern Big Brother season that I haven't seen.
Which, by the way, it is so funny that you say that, because this being the last veto solidifies that my least favorite veto was completely skipped this season, and that's hide and go veto.
That's your least favorite?
I hate it.
Really?
I hate it because it gives me anxiety. I think it's because I placed myself in the house. I couldn't stand doing it. I wouldn't know where to hide. Oh, hi. I'm so angry. I'm moving. I'm like, I wouldn't know where to hide it, and then I'd find a bad spot. There's no shot I would win, and somebody would win by putting it in like my stuff.
Really
something would break.
Okay.
Something would be misplaced, and I would just be upset about it for the remainder of the season. And so we completely skip it. By the way, in Big Brother 25, I believe Jag... Oh, no, wait. It says he won the final. Never mind. Let me keep looking on it. On the Tiny veto. I thought it said that Jag won.
Oh,
but they did play it. I see a picture of Cameron playing it.
Okay.
Oh, it was little cans. They had to stack little cans.
Interesting.
But what was interesting about this one is they had to make the puzzle in like a certain order. Because, it showed a picture of the mastermind.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this one, like, the cans just needed to be stacked.
Last year, too. Because they were making... You remember the key... It was the key card.
Oh, my gosh.
That was last year. I remember that one vividly. I think that was... Did Rubina win? I know she competed. And she was like, this is my competition. Because I'm small. And
that I don't remember. Apparently, Tiny Veto was first introduced in 2020.
Okay.
And according to my sources, my mom, she said that season 26 didn't, but 25 did do Tiny Veto. I'm trying to figure out
26. Wait, this is season 27?
Yeah.
26 did. Hello, Mrs. McCormack.
Mom, are you sure?
It was they had to make a little key card. I remember this competition very vividly.
My phone is getting scanned for viruses. What is happening?
No.
Okay, Cameron did win in season 25.
Okay.
There is no proof of 26.
It exists. There's no way. I'm not getting Mandela affected right now. They made a key card. It was
26.
for I'm going to have a
Tiny
panic
veto.
attack on air. I know that it was real. Mole?
I
It was real.
Wait. I think there was a tiny HOH.
It was the HOH?
They said they did hide and go. They did do hide and go veto last year. I do remember that because I hated Brooklyn for it.
Yes.
But my mom is frantically typing. Our production in the other room. Which
one did
secret
we say we were
diary
in?
room are we in? The attic or the basement?
The attic.
So my mom's in the basement
Yeah.
right now, like frantically typing.
She's actually in the house.
See, the thing is I looked it up and the answers it's giving me has Rubina's name spelled incorrectly.
Now I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to look up Big Brother 26 key card competition.
The HOH comp was a
It might
tiny
have
veto,
been-
BB Junkie. I could say that out loud. Yeah, they played it. It was definitely HOH. There's pictures of them playing it, and it's this little thingy.
Yes, that's what I was referring to. It might have been a computer chip.
Some kind of computer chip. So
or
they
I thought it was a
switched
key
it.
card. But
They switched it up the same way that some seasons, like they mostly have veto is Zingbot, but then every so often they'll make Zingbot head of household competition. So that's how they get you.
It was an AI arena.
It was.
It was an AI arena. I actually.
Sources have fooled my mom.
But it exists, and they did a tiny competition. It wasn't the veto, but
we got to the conclusion.
we got to our conclusion.
and that's what matters.
What a rabbit hole.
Because we already know the outcome of this season, so
Yeah.
we're like, let's talk about new
We
things.
just talk about stuff because, there's nothing to speculate on because it all happened.
I don't have to stop myself from spoiling anything because
That
there's
too.
none more spoilers.
Oh my gosh, we're so back. So yeah, what this entire thing was about, tiny veto. It was final 5. So this was Keanu's last shot, and safe to say he blew it. Unfortunately, he tripped and fell. And Morgan, best player, a confident saying, best player to never win.
Yeah.
Tucker definitely is in the consideration. Him, Paul, but
Paul.
definitely Morgan, even though she came in third. The third place player is basically second place, but both second and third place are the same placement, but one of them just gets money. That's how I see it. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree.
Like, they're both... It is the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are runner-ups.
Yeah.
One is guaranteed not. One is guaranteed third place. They're still in the same space, getting evicted and concluding the winner at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't care what you say.
I don't care because
Second place.
because Morgan, I mean, again, we're reminder, she did not win a single thing until we got to the halfway part of the season.
She won everything.
And then she's been winning everything, and now it's the last veto, and she just kicked everyone's butt. Like, at some point, I think Vinny was kind of close, but then everything fell. Womp womp.
Womp.
Like, Morgan just... Every game, it was just like, okay.
It's not the last veto, by the way.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, there was one more.
Second to last
Second to
veto.
last veto.
The second to last veto.
Yeah. So, Morgan wins. Once again, how many... Well, we'll get...
So many.
Well, we can't talk about her total numbers yet.
Not yet.
It's a little bit of a spoiler, obviously. Not really a spoiler, but I like to keep things in order. So, Morgan wins the veto, and they immediately went into the ceremony, basically, because let's make up for lost time, duh. So, we have the ceremony in the sanctum, and... they have to do their little voodoo doll thing. I thought it was cute. I liked it. It was fun.
I loved it. Julie Chen did not sign off on any of this. There's no way she liked this. Based on like what I know about Julie, I feel like she's just like, I'm gonna stay away from the sanctum.
Yeah. I wonder what room that was. Is that like the room,
The sanctum?
secret room that like the button was in and stuff in like season whatever? They actually mentioned the button in the finale.
I know. No, I think this was the Mastermind Sanctum is in the Have Not room.
Right.
They redid it.
Okay.
But I think the upstairs one, I think that the room that the button was in is either where the current gym is, or where they do the Blockbuster.
I think because now that I didn't know that the gym was on the first floor at the start, or I mean the second floor at the start of the season, I thought it was bad. I thought it was like in the like the back corner, like when you take a right out of the diary room, like there. That's why I thought it was, but it's on the second floor.
It is,
yeah,
which is weird, but
yeah,
whatever. I guess it works.
Anyways, tangent aside, veto ceremony. Morgan chooses to not use it, right? Yeah, she does. Yeah, okay. Wait, it says it in the notes. Yep. Morgan keeps noms the same, obviously. And then
she has the tiny veto.
Yes.
By the way.
Yeah.
It is physically
literally
so small.
tiny. And that's something I do appreciate about the competition.
Yep.
Because it's fun. And I think that the little tiny veto is awesome.
A cute bit. I want one for myself.
Yeah.
I'll put on my car, my rear view mirror.
A little veto. That would be a perfect rear view, like, now that I think of wow. So
we'll get on that.
Yeah, and I'm just delaying talking about the inevitable. Keanu is evicted.
Stabbied.
He's stabbied. Landslide. I mean, obviously, landslide doesn't really mean much at this point in the game, but
two whole
votes. That's all it took. Morgan. You wrote
I
Morgan
wrote
and Keanu.
I wrote Keanu evicted Keanu.
Keanu evicted Keanu. And yeah,
it was Ashley.
It was Ashley.
I'm so silly for that.
Morgan and Ashley both stibbed. Can I say?
Pierced
pierced the voodoo doll. Yes, with a needle, like a voodoo doll.
Just like it was all very what is that Jackbox game?
The trivia word I don't think I can say on air.
Party.
Unalive party. Yes.
It was very much like that came to life.
Yes.
Which I liked. Some I think someone mentioned they're like, oh, they're just copying. I thought it was cute. Well,
yeah, but
I
it was
don't know.
fun. And that's not it's like a vibe. It's not like a patented game specifically that the Jackbox people like created. Like obviously the whole voodoo doll aesthetic is like a thing.
Yep.
But yeah. So Keanu is pierced. And my heart is pierced.
So this again, as a reminder, I am a live feeder. I knew all of this.
He knew about this.
The last time we had our show, and I was so sad. It's like hiding like the passing of somebody from someone else. And we were in the room, and you're just
and
so
I had
hopeful.
My eyes closed.
Chris closed his eyes as I talked to the audience. As you talked to the audience, and I stared right into the camera for our YouTube channel. And I already knew the inevitable. And I had very mixed feelings about this because draft-wise, he was your last pick. That ensured that I would win the draft. But I'm sad. I think he was really going to win as we got to the end game?
If he won every competition and was able to make it into the final two chairs, I'm 1,000% he was going to win.
But he needed to win the comps.
He needed to win them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
At this point, when he could not take himself off the block with the tiny veto, I pretty much knew that this was the end for him, which was such a bummer. And it is important to note that Keanu was sacrificed. So we'll get to it more at the end of this episode, maybe at our whole season recap, I'm not sure, but it is just it is interesting that Keanu, so he was removed from the game in one way or another on not a live date.
Yes.
And he wasn't interviewed by Julie like Rachel until later.
Yes.
So it is interesting to note that Keanu was appropriately evicted or pierced.
Yes.
Where there was a vote.
Voted on.
It was voted on. Exactly. Unlike
Yes.
Rachel, yet he is referred to as sacrificed.
Well, I think that's probably just for flavor text purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's the mastermind. And, I mean, yeah, they use the word in Rachel's context. And the only thing that matters in this case is the fact that he was voted and democratically removed from the house, as opposed to Rachel, who was sort of backdoored without even...
Backdoored by production.
Yeah, she got backdoored. She got fourth walled.
Yeah.
She had no choice, and unfortunately... It had to be that way. But yeah, no. Keanu was evicted from the house. He was sacrificed by the mastermind, in air quotes.
I bring this up because I think there's a larger conversation and speculation to be had over why were only 2 house guests sacrificed. What happened there? I have a lot of thoughts. I think that production was fully going to sacrifice more people in the way that they did Rachel. And the backlash was so intense that they had to pivot somewhere.
And they had to do it like democratically.
Because the way that they had it set up, they had way too many people in the amount of weeks that they had left. So it's no surprise to anyone that they had to quickly figure out whether it was pre-planned, whether it wasn't, on how to get rid of more people faster. And the victims of that ended up being Rachel in the White Locust, Keanu in the Mastermind Sanctum, and then obviously the double eviction. But the double eviction isn't as surprising.
Yeah,
I thought there'd be 2 doubles. I thought there'd be a triple. I didn't know which it would be, but they ended up sacrificing people because of this twist that I think they wanted to do so much more with. But people, their ratings plummeted. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but a lot of people stopped watching after Rachel. And how much of that is because of the unfair elimination? How much of it is because it was just quite literally Rachel? It was a combination of both. I didn't stop watching because I just like watching the show.
We're trapped in the diary room.
And we're trapped in the diary room. I am not entirely convinced that production didn't pivot, is what I'm trying to say.
I think that's a great theory, and I'm seeing the evidence, and I'm agreeing with the evidence.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, that sounds like, with the scrappiness at which the end game was sort of Frankensteined together, because it was very like new and super new and old. Like, we had the White Locust with the Rachel thing, and how because they have never evicted anybody like that before.
Not in a regular season,
right? Yeah. And then we also had the normal double, and then we also had the Sanctum sacrifices, which is like a little bit of both, because it's just a bunch of competitions in fast, like there's no time to strategize in between, so there's no like real gameplay.
They took a week and they split it in half, and that's how they were able to get rid of Keanu and the next person, which is like, sure, it's longer than a double, but it's awkward. Faster than a normal week.
It's very awkward.
A little bit.
I'm not gonna say I didn't like it though.
Right, I have mixed feelings about it.
There's pros, there's cons. Definitely something I wouldn't be opposed to seeing again, maybe if done a little differently.
I agree. I think that as we're talking about approaching the end game, and obviously in real life we've already made it past there, it was weird in the sense of like, oh, there's like this heightened like pressure of, oh, we don't have as much time. But at this point, everyone's pretty much aligned with who they're aligned with. They already know what they're going to do. And if not, then that added pressure is kind of entertaining to watch. And for other reasons, also just the relationships among the house guests made this one of the most interesting and entertaining and dynamic end games that we've had in a long time.
1000%.
And again, I was closely paying attention last season because we started our show here. In the seasons before, I was closely watching too, but not, taking notes or anything. Mm-hmm. But I remember the last couple of weeks, it was just waiting around for a certain person to win. Maybe it was between two people and whatever. But here, we're sitting a week ago. We're still talking about last Wednesday, and we just evicted the 5th person. There's so many people still left in this house. What is going on? And it did make it interesting. And even if it was weird to have someone like what did Keanu walk out to? Like where there's just like a production assistant just on the other side of the door, like, hey man, like you go into the Big Brother house and you picture leaving. Obviously, you picture yourself with the confetti and whatever. But if you don't make it that far, Julie's going to be sitting there with a live audience for you to be interviewed. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Keanu, not too different from Rachel, then you walk out there and it's just like, did they remember to turn the lights on for him at least? What's on the other side of the door?
Maybe. I mean, obviously there's no way to know, but I would think that he may have done the interview with her right after. I mean, it's not out of the question, but
I think he came back though. Like he came back because he was interviewed.
I have no idea what.
With on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back.
The beginning of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so I don't know what they did with him. Poor Keanu.
Something weird happened. That's
what happens when you're sacrificed.
Yeah, that's what that does. That'll do it. That'll do it for you. And it is also important to know or note that with the exit of Keanu, December came early because Chris missed.
And
thank you, Liam, for coming up with that one.
Shout out to
a year ago.
Shout out to my brother in the crib. Every week that one of Chris's draft picks would go home, Liam would talk about how Chris missed. And I am genuinely shook at this point that my draft not only holds the final 4, but in order. Even to the very end.
I did not notice that, but you're actually so right. Wow.
And on BB Twitter and all that stuff, people were saying, even with the final 5, they're like, who could have predicted that this would be the final 5? And it's so funny because I feel like we quite literally did, because the only person in the final 5 that I didn't have, I was bummed that I didn't have. Like if you didn't pick Keanu, that would have been my next pick. And so down to the 4, I quite literally in July, you could go back and watch the tapes, literally picked the order for the remainder of the game.
I'm going to say something, and it might just be the fact that we eat, sleep, and breathe Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think predicting, like last year, I mean, you had Quinn really high up there, and I had Joseph really high up there.
You had Quinn.
Or I had Quinn. You're right.
You took him from me.
You are right.
My number 1 pick was actually Cedric.
But my number 1 pick was Chelsea. She was my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like...
No, she wasn't.
Yes.
No, it was
wasn't?
Quinn.
It was Quinn. Okay. Was she?
She was your second.
End?
So
okay.
you had Quinn
and then
she was
Chelsea.
At the
higher end.
And I had Cedric and Tucker, and then I had Mackenzie.
Okay. Well, I mean, but like either way, from what we base our drafts off of, I mean, I remember back in the middle, I guess, of the summer when they started doing the press tour for the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can tell who's going to be good at the game. I guess someone like Adrian presented himself as a lot better than he actually was.
Mm-hmm.
And like those super fans and stuff. But like, you sort of know who's going to go out. And I think that we read all of the contestants this year and pretty well last year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was the first time. Second time, I mean, as opposed to last year, and considering the amount of Big Brother that I had consumed the prior year compared to this year,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's a lot easier.
I think that we either learned a lot from our draft from the year prior, or we just got really lucky. Or I remember sitting there when we were watching the preseason interviews, and this cast was very strange. Even I felt like up until jury, we were still watching week 1 gameplay. I was very confused pretty much the entire time. I felt like we were still just starting until we got to that checkpoint, as Gamer Girl would say.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was just a lot of these house guests we could tell really early on that they had no clue what this game was, or they thought they had it entirely figured out and they didn't. And so maybe that helped us figure out exactly who the top contenders would be, because I mean, even if it was the top half of my draft that ended up in the final, your side was also pretty much week for week. You know, your bottom pick was the one who went out, and then it was 2 weeks later, the next person that you lost was your second to last pick, and it just kept going. So I feel like between the both of us, we could just kind of tell who the top contenders were going to be since the very start, which is really interesting. And I think either says a lot about, our experience with the show, our knowledge of it, or just the way that the house guests truthfully answered their preseason interviews and how much they knew about this or that. And I remember being so nervous when Ashley was on the block the very first week, because there was something
that would have been, that's like that's a misfire right there.
Right? But she was so very different from her preseason interview, and it turns out it's because she did that by design. She showed us the true Ashley preseason, and then she started out, and unfortunately production didn't really show her strategy for a very long time. And then I'm sitting here like, oh my god, my number 1 pick is so very silly.
Nice.
Like, what am I going to do? So not even that I saw through that, but that, you know, she showed a different side of her in the preseason. So unfortunately for you, December came early. Fortunate for me,
that guarantees your dub.
But I was still sitting here very curious to see who was gonna win, and if I somehow managed to get the exact order. And a lot of this lied on who would be the final HOH. And I mean, the only way that I could see that happening is if Ava doesn't win. And oh boy, don't worry.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
But yeah, so that was Wednesday. Lots of yap. But we have a whole lot of Big Brother to talk about. Thursday. We are now on to Thursday. Keanu has just been evicted, and he had his exit interview with Julie, where they talked about his relationship with Vince. We don't have to talk about this anymore.
We already know.
The amount of times we talked about Vince and Keanu.
The important thing is that he begins to realize now that he's out. Yes. Exactly what Vince did, which is important because now he gets to vote in the finale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now we're on to the HOH competition.
Ooh.
Because we have to do more eliminations.
We gotta get somebody
else out here. And so Wednesday, we had the veto and the eviction, and tonight we will be getting the full week. So we start off with the HOH, super short. is Ashley, all the girls. They're all
head to head.
They pushing a cube. Who else up pushing they cube?
Barely Ava.
They're trapped inside a cube, and they must move it by like Mario Galaxy style, like pushing it. And Ava was not the greatest, to say the least.
Ava could barely move this cube.
Yeah.
She tried. I think I don't think I would do well in this comp.
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't. It would depend on how easy it would be to get the cube over like that tipping point. Like if I could throw myself into the wall, which is what that was I guess the intention. I'm sure that it would be not that difficult, but it would depend on my ability to get a running start and get momentum. But
I think we should just get giant cubes and just see what would happen.
And I'm so for that.
And they were just secured with zip ties. I don't know if you noticed that. I thought that was so funny.
I did.
It's like, okay, production, we couldn't like paint over that or something. I guess that's how they were, or were they secured in there like that? And then, I don't know. I had a lot of questions, and there were a lot of zip ties. But yeah, Ava had a little bit of difficulty yeeting herself onto the ground, so she could barely move the cube. And I don't even know if they really addressed Ashley.
Yeah, I don't think she was doing great, but whatever. Morgan won, guys.
There was no point in showing anybody else, because by the time they even like thought about a strategy, Morgan was already answering the question.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, because I mean it's cool to see when people just dominate competitions like back to back to back to back to back, especially someone like Morgan, because she's cool. She's the second coming of Vanessa. I've seen a lot of talk about that, and I agree.
History repeats.
History is repeating itself. Vanessa, Paul, Josh, or not. Those are the three archetypes that we're working with right here.
Little Steve,
but
Little
Steve won.
Yes.
Steve is. Paul was Vince.
Paul
is evil Vince.
Evil Vince.
Yeah, evil Vince, because Vince is the evil one.
Yeah.
Anyways, HOH competition. Morgan wins, solidifies her spot in the top 3, and immediately we go straight into the nominations. Obviously, Ava and Ashley are nominated.
What?
And now we move into the veto, because we got to play the veto. We got to do the whole week. And
the actual last veto,
this is the actual
would
last
never
veto.
be hide and go veto at the very last 4. This is the most important veto competition of the season. That would
be hilarious.
I would sob. I can't stand that competition. I'm bitter about it since last year. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I should apply for Big Brother. Now that they didn't do it this season, they will do it next season. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of hide and go veto.
Yeah, but this competition entailed, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
I thought it was an interesting mix of like a mental puzzle, like actually shifting pieces into place. And they also had to remember specific dates of when things happened, which sort of added an extra layer. I was a little, this wasn't live, was it?
No.
Okay. I just want, because, it probably took a good bit of time, I would think.
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know off the top of my head.
Moving around and stuff like that, because they only had every other space to make space for other blocks. So they had to, they couldn't lift it out and move it. Like, they had to shift it, if you're not familiar about what happened, obviously.
I would be so mad, because there's always competition. Even like a Rubik's Cube. And you move it, and then I get so mad, and there's just like one color that's the wrong one. I'm like, what if I just take the cube out?
Yes.
And I just switch the sticker, and then everything will be fine. And I'm like, if they could just take this tile out and put it where it should be, then everything would be great. But you're right, then it is a direct mix between a mental comp memorization wise, memorizing what happened at what day, and then also a physical comp because it looked like it wasn't particularly easy to move these tiles. Like you needed force to move them, and so it was kind of a perfect half and half in that way.
1,000%. And gonna just get cut to the chase again. Morgan,
what,
with her final competition win of the season, tallied at, I think, 5 vetoes, 2 HOHs. I believe that was her stats, which is ridiculous numbers. Anything more than 5 is like S tier.
Yeah, this was her 5th veto win.
5th veto, 2 or 3 HOHs. I don't remember.
This was 2.
2. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was right. That was the first statistic I've actually gotten correct on the show that I actually remember.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank God I can remember anything.
I'm just happy for the internet.
Yeah.
And my own graphics that I made days
That's
ago.
Very true. And so Morgan obviously wants to keep her own nominations the same.
What?
Not that there is any nominations to. Oh wait, she would have been able. She wanted to backdoor.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them. There's 2 on the block. Yeah. If she wanted to backdoor Ashley, she could have here. Obviously, she's not because Ava's still in the game.
Well, she could backdoor Vince.
Vince, because he was the one.
And then then the sole vote to evict would have been either Ava or Ashley would keep the other.
Yeah.
So in order to secure his safety, then she didn't even bother. I feel like she maybe entertained it for like a half second, and then that's nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Semantical.
But she had the power to.
She did. She had the power. But yeah. So we now have our final 3. Obviously, Morgan chooses to take Ashley with her over Ava, and
Well, that was Vince.
Or Vince.
Vince's vote.
Yes, Vince voted. You're so right. That always confuses me.
This is okay.
Yeah, it's like the one like that. There's 2 soul votes. There's the final 3 soul vote, and then the final HOH soul vote.
Yeah.
But
and we finally get to backdoor territory, and like it's still so strange with the blockbuster because when you brought that up, it reminded me like we didn't have any backdoors the entire season, which
because
if you don't know
out was already hard enough.
Exactly, and backdoor is essentially when you like take someone off the block and you put someone else up that didn't have the chance to fight for themselves, and then the goal is for them to go. You really couldn't do that with the blockbuster, so we never really got a true glorious backdoor.
I prefer the blockbuster over backdoor tactics. It's cheap. Sometimes it can be entertaining. Like in a situation where like when back in like the single digit seasons when we had like those massive moments with like Dan and stuff like that, but I prefer the 3 noms, AI / blockbuster type gameplay because it's more competitive. I mean, like there's any kind of competition, like you can make it any skill. I mean, it's Big Brother. It's supposed to be a test of multiple things. It doesn't have to be a physical competition every time. But for certainly, now, well, we're in the final 3. We made it.
We did.
We made it. Morgan, Vince, and Ashley were named the final 3 by the end of Thursday night, and we had 3 days, or 2 days, or no, Friday, Saturday, or 2 days, yeah. Well, basically 3 because it was Sunday night. So almost 3 days of reckoning to finally determine the winner of Big Brother 27.
And these 3 days were for casual viewers. Oh no, who's gonna win? What's gonna happen? And for live
Sure.
feeders, it was misery.
Yeah.
Vince is so exhausting.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Yes.
And
Period.
so I pretty much know, obviously, Thursday is live. I also knew that Ava was calling a house meeting earlier in the day, that Thursday, to discuss essentially, to tell them the tea that Vince was thinking of bringing Ava, and Morgan may drop Vince in the final 3 as she was stirring the pot and all that stuff. And so I was very shocked that they showed that on the episode, that they turned that around that quickly. And I have a feeling like they only really had the chance to because Ava was evicted. Immediately after this, everyone's like clinging back onto the feeds to find out, who is winning part 1 and part 2 and whatever. And we're going to get to that, obviously. But Vince is just an exhausting misery.
Yes.
From Thursday night into Sunday. And it is very, very important to note that Vince and Morgan are staying up all day, every day, and their sleep was practically none. And this is going to come into play later.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Question.
Answer perchance.
Well, definitely answer. But when did they play part 1 and 2?
See, that I don't remember. I don't remember specifically like which date.
Obviously.
Well, it was after Thursday.
It had to have been after.
When I actually think that
was Thursday live at all?
Thursday was live. Yeah.
What part was live?
The
veto.
Well, Julie was there, and they were just in between her talking. They played what happened previously, so the only thing live really was Ava's eviction.
Okay.
And so they had Keanu's interview. They played what happened throughout the week.
Yeah.
Ava was evicted. Ava did her exit interview. Immediately after, they did their silly lobster dinner. Mm-hmm. And then not too long after that, they went into part 1. And then I think pretty soon after, maybe the day after, like by Saturday, they did part 2.
Okay.
Maybe Friday.
Yeah.
It's all blurry to me now.
All right. So, setting the tone, going into Sunday, Mole is distressed. I am also distressed, but because I'm a student. But I still found time to watch the finale of Big Brother. Obviously. Why would I not? And now we make it to the end of the week. It is Sunday, and it is 12:55.
Well,
right now.
Well,
it's currently 12:56, but we still have a few more minutes to talk.
Do you want me to recap Friday, because it quite literally will take 2 seconds?
We can talk a little bit about Friday, because I want to take this next hour and just cut right into to Sunday. But we talk about Friday briefly, because I didn't watch it, so this can be a fun little segment.
It is. Friday is the typical recap of the season where they have the 3 house guests in a really tiny table. They eat a nice dinner and they reflect.
Talk about stuff.
And so all we really see is there's a little bit of fallout from Ava's last minute plea, that what she called out Vince and his lies in front of the house. They do the normal flashbacks of a lot of fighting with Keanu and others. Shout out to Will, the funniest house guest in this house. And
what is Potato Mouse?
Potato is the pet mouse for Rachel's daughter. Kept a mouse in their house.
Aww.
And she's like, and then one day Potato went off to college, and Will's like, Potato is no more.
Aww.
It was so sad.
That's terrible.
Shout out to House Mouse. 1 ate through my beauty blender this morning.
Oh my gosh! That's so, what a coincidence.
So me and Rachel, our households like this. But the most important part is we did get the jury house segment, where they have the house guests. They have Kelly and Lauren and Keanu join the house. Rachel is very excited to see Kelly lose. Rachel also calls Lauren a puppy dog. Keanu enters the house. He says Vince did him dirty. And Rachel is very disappointed to see Keanu, but also rubs his loss in his face. And that is quite literally everything that happened on Friday. Though, personal note, important thing for me to note is during the diary room request montage where they show the silly things they requested, including a edible brick from Adrian.
Why?
Because he is interesting. He also wants a 3-foot-long lint roller. He was there for like 30 seconds, and he's got a delicious edible brick. But in addition to that, we saw a wide shot of the upstairs diary room.
I saw that in the notes.
I've been pressed about this upstairs diary room all season. It is not the first time that they have had an upstairs diary room, but it is the first time that it looks awful. And it did the entire season, and there was a wider shot, and they are quite literally just against a wall. Like, I think the backdrop of the diary room is quite literally an inch away from the back of their head, and it looks like it, and it sounds like it, and it is terrible. And production, the season was fantastic. I need you to change a handful of things, and that is the most pressing to me and my soul. If the downstairs one can look that pretty and sound that good, then you did it once, you could do it again. If we could replicate that upstairs, that would be fantastic. I would love to not know which diary room, which house guest is in each time. And the fact that there have been previous seasons have had 2 diary rooms, and it has never once come to my attention, that means you did something right. And this season you did it wrong. And it just sounded so echoey. But whatever. I got answers that I needed. This was my C plot. The whole season was my frustrations with the diary room, which is where we are right now.
We are currently here.
We're in a different diary room.
We are going to continue to be here for the next hour right here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. But before we do that, we are going to have to take a very, very, very quick break because it's time to reflect, and this is the final episode of Big Brother of the season, and we're very sad. But we will be right back after this short break. Fret not, because we will be talking the finale and our thoughts with as much time that we have. We'll be back. I'll see ya in just a moment. 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Welcome back to the diary room. The diary room. This is mine. Maybe your favorite Big Brother commentary show. We have been on the airwaves for the last hour yapping about the final week of Big Brother 27. We have finally made it to the end of the season, and what a week it was.
Oh my God.
We talked all about Wednesday and Thursday. It has been a very different endgame than we're used to, because we got rid of 3 people in the span of 3 days because of the quote-unquote Masterminds Month of Mayhem, in air quotes, which, as we established, just means that production messed up and accidentally did not get enough people out in the amount of time that they needed to get the season over in. And luckily, it made for pretty exciting endgame, because we talked about 2 days. It took us 1 hour, and we still barely made it through the hour. But now we're going to talk all about Sunday, the finale of Big Brother 27. Very, as a general pre-talking about it, very, very satisfied.
Yes.
Very satisfied with our ending. we'll obviously talk more specifics in terms of details, but general rule of thumb for me, I was very, very pleased. But let's hop right into it. Part 1, we usually open up right on part 1 because we played it however long ago that was, like Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. Whenever part 1. Thursday, probably.
Friday.
Maybe Friday.
One of the two.
Yeah, I want to. I don't even know why I said Wednesday because we weren't even. Well, no, Keanu had left prior to Wednesday.
They needed Ava to leave.
Yes. Yeah, Ava was evicted live.
And then she's gone, and then Lobster, and then go get on spinning drone thing.
Yes. Part 1.
Oh, I hope they gave them time to digest first. Yummy dinner. Go spin on a drone.
That's probably why
now.
they were getting so nauseous.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about that. So this was part 1 of the HOH. It was the same thing that they do every year. Or at least they did it last year.
This looked, from my memory at least, pretty identical to what they did last season for part 1.
Yeah, for part 1, I don't remember. Part 2 was part 3 is always the same, obviously. I wish they would bring back the scale. I don't know why.
I know.
We should break immersion. I'm saying this. I'm stating it. I understand that we're doing the storyline thing and it like needs to be like a complete like story arc. But I miss the scales.
The only reason to not have the scales is if it's downpouring. And even still, this is a controlled parking lot. Get a dome.
Get some. I mean, they've been able to do that for. They only stopped. Did they do it 25? Do you remember if they did the picture thing or the scales?
In 25?
Yeah.
You asked me a lot about.
Because I haven't seen it.
You asked me a lot about a season that was so many years ago.
It was only 2 years ago.
That was so many years ago. And you don't know. I don't know.
LOL. But like either way, yeah, I'm just curious because I mean I remember them doing the scale 24. That's for sure. At least I think I do.
It was indoors again.
Okay.
For 20.
And I assume, and I'm pretty sure 24 was outside.
Meow Meow Enterprises.
Right. Whatever that means.
Why?
But we're still on part 1, and the drones are spinning.
Sorry, I don't know why he was brought up in the 25 finale. Sorry. Continue. They're spinning. They're on the
drones are spinning, and the house guests are nauseous, except for Morgan,
who's just trying to lock in.
She's just always the most locked in the room. Ashley went first. Mm-hmm. It seemed like Vince was gonna go first, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And so, to keep a long story short, because we've seen this a million times before, Morgan won.
Mm-hmm.
Very convincingly, and Vince and Ashley were left to their part 2s, and Morgan gets to skate all the way to part 3 for free because she won part 1. She was able to hold on against those spinning drones to her life. And there wasn't a break in between part 1 and 2. It might have just been like some padding, like footage of Julie talking.
Well, but between part 1 and 2,
what happened between part 1 and 2.
They went to jury.
Oh yes, you're so right. Yes, because this was a very jam-packed episode.
Because of my note,
I was like, "There's no way that they just did that."
My note that we can't even read on air.
LOL, because that was my reaction to. I was not reading the notes. LOL. Yes, we got. This was like a whole 30-minute segment.
For some reason,
we
do this.
We had to talk. The jury sits down with Cody Calafieri now. for some reason, as opposed to Dr. freaking Will. Two absolutely incomparable players. There's like 4 people who I would rather see in that situation. But it just seems CBS loves Cody and Nicole so dearly.
So they bring back Cody, and this is, they keep bringing him back because he was there for 16, and then he was back for All Stars, and he
was
won.
in Reindeer Games.
Was he in Reindeer Games?
So.
I don't even remember.
I want to say he was.
I tend to block that out of my head.
Me too.
The funny thing is that I feel like a lot of people complained online about Cody coming back to host. I wasn't particularly excited because it's just like, he's fine. I don't know.
Like, he's so boring.
But the weirdest thing is that this segment ended up being so short in comparison to what I want that there wasn't even any room to really, in my mind, complain about Cody.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of read questions off of a card.
It was mostly the house guests.
Which maybe is also a complaint in itself. But why I wish... That's what the Friday episode should have been.
Yes.
It should have just been a round table with the jury, get them in a studio or a diary room like we're in
Cody
right
is
now.
not built for that much talking.
And it's weird because he hosts a show with Derek. They have a podcast together. It hasn't happened as frequently because they are quite literally just men with their own lives. And
especially now.
And they've got their own stuff going on. But I don't know if that's a complaint about Cody, if that's a complaint about production, how they're editing the episode. Cody being there, it didn't even... we got more material from Tyler when he hosted a competition than we got from Cody.
Yes, and that's the core of our philosophy right here.
Yeah. Also that I believe it's not Taylor just because she's doing Unlocked. I think they're just going to have the host rotate every year, which is also frustrating because then you don't give a individual roundtable host to settle into the spot.
Yeah.
But
it
clearly
makes it better when they're more skilled and adept at doing the same thing that they've done multiple times before, which is why getting rid of Dr. Will. I don't know did he leave?
I think he left. I feel like
him go.
I feel like I remember him kind of being over it. And maybe that's wrong. I don't know.
That might have been a factor.
Or a contract's done and that he didn't want to do it anymore. I think Taylor was great. Say what you will about Taylor. I think she is a queen. I don't like Unlocked, but I do like that I got to see more of her. I think she did a good job. I would love to see her back at the round table. The thing is by having rotating hosts and just not even showing Cody, I feel like it is just such an afterthought, is my complaint, that they're not actually thinking about, because the audience wants to know what the jury thinks, because we have cameras on these 3 boring people, even though it actually wasn't boring, which is very interesting, but we just have these 3 people that are moping and like wandering around a house and whatever it may be. I want to know what the jury thinks. Obviously, there's no camera in there. Long story short, let me in, Big Brother. Let me host the jury roundtable. I could be so entertaining. I think I'd like get up on my seat and I'd be like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean?" I think I would actually spoil too much. I'd be a really annoying host, actually. Don't let me host the roundtable.
It's okay. Because we can both host it together and it will be like... That would be our thing.
That would be fantastic.
Welcome. We are the most qualified people to talk about this specific season.
Well, maybe we can host the post-show roundtable that Paul has been talking about. That we'll talk about another time. Paul is like
I don't know about this.
Paul, by the way, has been like completely disappeared from like all like surface of the earth since BB19, and then suddenly they're back because they're on another show, I believe. And Paul, like I adore Paul, and so I'm finally getting more of their content, and I'm so excited. But they brought up like, why don't we have a post-show roundtable? Just a yap sesh. Why don't we have something like that? And I am here for it. And if Paul doesn't host it, Big Brother, let me and Chris in. Let the diary room, WMSC in if you feel like it. But please. I think it would be so funny and silly. Yeah. But we're at the jury roundtable.
Okay. So
and there's Cody. He did fine.
He did fine. He did his job. He read the questions off. I did like that it was very house guest oriented because I mean the people the members of the jury, especially seeing the jury members in a very non-game situation and listening to them talk is very different than seeing them and listening to them in the actual show. And it was cool. I liked the balance of like, yeah, it was Cody was hosting it, but it was the other house guests too.
Mm-hmm. It's in the end, it's not. You're right. It's not even about Cody.
Yeah.
But if we
but he could, yes,
more
he could have been. That was my point.
Yeah,
my point
yeah,
of this of saying this is that it was good that that the other house guests were able to pad the experience.
Yeah. They also had Rachel
because of well.
Will,
and Will,
but Rachel, who knows what they're looking for.
That too.
Yeah,
that's a very good point actually, because Rachel is qualified to do one of she could do next year's.
Let her back in.
For all I know, for all intents and purposes, she is doing next year's.
Yeah, hopefully.
She'd be like the perfect person to do an endgame roundtable.
They did her dirty. The least they could do is pay her more.
Yeah.
and have her host the roundtable.
That is very true.
Hopefully we predicted it. You heard it here now. In a year from now.
Is here in a year from now and doing the finale roundtable. Big I told you so from the two of us.
Hopefully. Keep my fingers crossed.
But where was I? Oh yeah, we're roundtable, and I mean some quotes. A lot of people think, or quotes and moments. We're
paraphrasing. And such.
There's not a big point. I mean, we can talk whatever gets caught in conversation. So we had an appraisal of Morgan, and I mean, like we do that all the time on this show right here. Morgan.
Killing it. Like there's no doubt about it.
Everybody loves Morgan's game. Everybody thinks that Vince is playing a good game, but they all agree that he is a little slippery guy. He's Vinny the Lip, just like Ava says. He's a talker, and the house they know that. Don't know how. Well, we'll see. We'll see very soon how much they care about that.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gotten to the voting. We haven't even gotten to part 2 yet, which is my favorite part.
Yes.
I cannot wait to talk about this because I want to have as much time to talk about everything that happens from after this section on. Because I have countless words.
We may need a 24-hour marathon just to dissect this.
But yeah, everybody thinks that Vince is a snake, and he is.
But at this point,
slice it any way you want.
At this point, they're still categorizing that as a air quotes good game.
It's not.
It's a game.
It is a game. Quinn did the same thing. Quinn played a very similar game.
Okay.
Just want you to be aware of that.
I love Quinn,
but
and I don't love Vince, so it's so hard
from
for
a
me.
From a personal standpoint and an ethical/moral standpoint, yes. Quinn and Vince are not the same person at all. But from a gameplay perspective, they aren't too far from each other.
Okay.
Obviously, there are very, very glaring differences because
like the mustaches.
The mustaches. Vince was playing Morgan's game. As much as that everybody, everybody in the jury knows that.
Yeah.
Morgan probably. I don't know why I find this so funny. Just thinking about how Morgan also probably knows that she was playing, or Vince was playing her game.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, it was just like there was no more room to misunderstand that.
Yeah.
It was quite literally she got her way. And it was just most important for the jury to understand that. And they did. They put it all together because there were so little puzzle pieces. It's like when you put together the puzzle and there's just like a couple pieces left. There's no way around it. Yeah. I'm sure Keanu could find a way, but I love Keanu. I do adore him. But I think he'll just whatever.
Hey man,
I do love Keanu.
Hey man, yeah, me too. But we agree. We seem to be in agreement that he could have made a couple better decisions. And that's okay.
And he would agree too.
And that's okay. And yes. But yeah, for the most part, what else do we have in our notes? Everyone thinks that Vince was playing a good game. Will just completely airing Ashley out in broad daylight. Did you guys know that Ashley's an attorney? I mean, obviously it was. I'm not surprised that he knew and people knew, but everybody didn't know.
I believe she only told Will and Rachel in the game.
I would assume that makes sense.
But she did explicitly ask him not to tell anybody.
Yeah.
And there he is telling everyone.
It's a different ask.
Well, no, like in the jury. Like she didn't want him to tell anyone there. However, I want to say something. Okay. I'll let you.
Do you think that this influenced any outcomes? Actually, no.
Oh, no.
We're not going to talk about this until after it ends, because obviously we need to know the final outcome and have the clear storyline all built up.
Yeah, because I definitely have opinions.
Let's leave it here and let's revisit, because if we, depending on how much revisital time we have.
But yes, at this point, Will was explicitly asked not to do this.
Yeah.
And yet he did it.
He just aired her out.
And that may come into play later.
We'll see. So, anyways, so twice in a row, I am locked out because I'm just so. That's number 3.
I'm gonna count every time you say that word now. We have 3 so's.
3 so's.
Oh, you said it again.
Well, I was saying
5
because
5. I
was saying because I was trying to reiterate.
5.
I was reiterating. 4.5.
4.5 so's. We're losing our marbles in this diary room.
We are losing our marbles. Part 2. That's where we're at.
Yes.
That was really all that happened in the jury roundtable. We got some more talking between the house guests.
I wish there was more, but that was it.
I agree.
Whatever.
Definitely could have been a little more, but that's okay. Now we're on to part 2. Part 2 is another specially designed competition. I don't believe they've done the first part, because this is a multi-part competition, just like last year. Not the same competition, but still 2 parts to the competition. So, or technically there's also 3 parts, because
this was a very
involved, layered competition.
Exactly.
And I like that. I think that doing this for like a big finale, because everybody knows what the final part is going to be, because it's always the same.
Yeah.
With a different coat of paint now for some reason. Don't know why. Definitely because we've been theming the seasons a little more harder, but
Meow Meow Enterprise.
But part 2, we got BB Comic ziplining, but not BB Comic. BB Comic zipline with no zipline. Or no BB Comics.
No BB Comic, but there was BB Billboard.
Billboard.
Which they have done before. I can't remember.
The knocking over, that's what I was referring to, where I was like, I don't think that they've done this before, but they did. Like the specific knocking things down off of a billboard from a zip line.
And like, I barely remember it, but I do remember the go on a zip line and just smack your whole being into these
And that's
cubes.
Exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And the house guests, Vince and Ashley.
Ashley,
all 2 of them had to knock over these billboards with pieces of pictures of house guests. So like it was a 4-part puzzle 4-piece puzzle of faces of house guests that were color coded,
And
which
then
is
there
important.
were 6 of them.
Yes, there were 6 house guests. It was the last 6 evicted.
Yeah.
So it was Will, Ava, Rachel, Keanu, Lauren, and
I think Mickey.
Mickey.
was on there.
Yeah. And so it was 6 pictures of them split into 4 pieces that they had to knock over the billboards to get the pieces because they were the cubes were like scrambled and there was a piece of a house guest on different parts of the cubes. But so after they were knocked over, they had to make up the things in the specific color. This is a very layered competition.
They had to essentially
so much going on.
There were puzzle pieces in the billboard. They
Yeah.
knocked down the pieces. They put the pieces together.
Uh-huh.
They only could figure out which was in which spot because of the border.
Of the color. That's why
the
it's
color.
important.
Yeah.
And there was another board right behind their puzzle board, or that was the puzzle, or the other puzzle, because there was 2 puzzles.
Lots of layers to this.
There's 2 puzzles and a physical part. That would have been good to start with. Now that I think about it,
We got there. It's
we got there in
fine.
the end somehow. So yes, they built the first puzzle, and then they had to take numbers and accurately input the order in which the house guests were evicted.
Yes.
But it was scrambled, and the background of the places, or the little cubbies that they placed the numbers in, was the color of the background of the house guest.
Yes.
That needed to the number would correspond to. So, for example, Will was house guest, or let me use one that I would. Keanu was house guest number 14 or 13 to be evicted. So he, right, 13. Yes, because Ava was 14, 15, 16 was Vince and Morgan.
Yes.
Not Morgan and Vince.
Yeah.
But yes, so
That would be the answer.
Vince, the answer would be, so Keanu is number 13. You put his background was yellow. You put the yellow number, the number in the yellow background.
We got there. We got there
in the end.
Now, we are this confused
Now-
explaining, knowing all this
Yes.
information. Now, there was a house guest who was a little bit confused, not even having all this information. And Chris is in the corner. I can't even see him in the screen anymore.
My head was in my hands and I was crouched on the ground in a ball.
Just like Vince.
Just like somebody else we know.
Do you wanna continue to take this
I
one?
can continue to take this one
Because I'll get the aftermath.
We can talk all about the aftermath. I just love talking about this part because it was hilarious.
I know one person who doesn't find it hilarious. The losers. Sorry, Vince.
Sorry, Vince. Okay.
I get it.
That was the competition.
Yeah.
That is important, establishing information for what is about to transpire. Now, they do the thing, both of them. Ashley is, I'm going to talk in the present tense.
All right.
Ashley is very, 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 very far behind.
Yes.
She had to go up and she had to go through the zip line like maybe 4 other times than Vince did.
Yeah.
At least from what it seemed like on the edit. Like after Vince knocked down all of his stuff, she was doing it for like a lot longer extra. Vince builds his puzzle and he reads the note of the clue. They had to build the puzzle. I forgot about that aspect too. When they built the puzzle, they had to open up a letter, and the letter had a hint, which was the whole like that. It said the order is the number. The password is the order in which the house guests were evicted.
Yeah.
It said the order.
Yeah.
Vince reads that as the day.
Yes.
for some reason, he just pulls all, and good thing, and I'm glad that they did give them a lot of numbers. Obviously, they would have needed multiple ones and multiple of the numbers, but just the sheer amount of numbers that they gave them probably did not help either. Because if they gave them like the specific amount that they needed, he might have been able to figure it out.
He would have been missing a couple, and then probably would have put 2 and 2 together a little bit faster. I wonder if they either just happen to have a set of numbers on hand at all times anyway, because I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Or if they strategically, they're like, we're just going to put all these little tiles in for whatever outcome they think it could be. And I mean, clearly, this tripped up Ashley too.
Yes.
For a long time.
They both, that's what I was about to get to. They were both stumped.
By the way, we didn't even mention the fact that Frankie Grande is there.
Oh my gosh.
Hosting this competition.
Let's backtrack a little bit. How could I, oh my God, I feel terrible.
Shout out to all my Frankies.
Shout out Frankie freaking Grande for coming back to Big Brother.
I love Frankie. Get Frankie back on my screen.
Him. I was so glad that they saved him for last. Technically. Technically, they saved him for last.
Yeah.
We'll get to that a little bit later. But, yeah. So Frankie was the host. He came out normally. And then the mastermind came out masked, and it was like, whoa. But Frankie was there to help. And he explained the rules and stuff, and he was hosting. Another previous house guest host. That seemed
Shout out
to be
season 16.
Big, massive theme of this year, and I liked it a lot. We can talk about that a little more in our recap. We'll talk about the recap at the end of this recap. So many recaps. We got recaps in recaps.
We are so many recaps.
So much to talk about. We're recapping 'N. Because we're just so recap. Yes.
But at this point...
Yes. Ashley and
Vince...
And they're struggling.
They're struggling. But Morgan, Morgod, as people are calling her...
Morgod.
Puts 2 and 2 together and realizes exactly what they're doing wrong. And Morgan and Frankie are like holding on to each other. This is the most I've ever seen like outside hosts like interact with the house guests. They're like clinging on to one another. They're like... oh my gosh, it's the order, not the day. They're like, oh no, and they can't say a word.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat because I was gonna be real mad if somebody said something or if he like caught some kind of language from them that made him think that he was doing the wrong thing because he had no idea the whole time.
Then he started getting into his own head.
Yes. And so Ashley finishes knocking down her thing. She builds it. Vince is still crashing out. He's like, bad. He's been done by the time Ashley is probably building her like maybe third or fourth picture. She's not even close to being done. Vince is hitting his buzzer. Zip.
As if continuing to hit it is going to change. Yeah. And also, after the outcome, like the way that I heard about this conversation being spoken about by Vince, he was saying, and I think this is an exaggeration, but still he said, he's like, I had an hour advantage over Ashley. I don't think it was actually an hour, but I had no idea what he meant. Did he gain some kind of advantage? Did he have a significant amount of time over her? He just did it to himself that he performed the first 2 of 3 parts of this competition so quickly. And he fumbled so hard in this last part that, like you said, like she was like still knocking down pieces by the time he's putting in the dates in which all these people are being eliminated. That is how fogged his brain was that he couldn't even step back, take a deep breath and say, clearly I'm doing something wrong. And if he studied the dates as much as he did, which at this point, like, you have so much time to do it.
Has he not been in a competition before that he had to prove his knowledge of his dates? And now
That's the other thing. They just did that with the veto.
That was, well, but obviously he didn't know because I guess he never rung in one. But even still, like, you have to really have some personal. You gotta have some personal issues if you know you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know you're correct. I'm sure he knows he's correct. Because how often are you studying your days when you're in the Big Brother house? Like, it's the only thing you can do outside of socialize.
Yeah. And so at some point he doesn't, unfortunately, take a deep breath and pivot.
Yeah.
But someone else does.
And Ashley rereads the note, and finds out it's the order, immediately gets it, and just wins. The tortoise in the hare.
Her second win
Of
the entire
season is face-to-face against a competitive threat, a very just a threat. He's
the one with the most HOH wins.
He's got a resume.
Yes. And she
beat him. Won him fair and square.
And he is a misery. And now we go to my experience with this. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm watching the live feeds, but it's just the theme music playing over and over and over again with the little, like, the animals that are up for adoption. And we come back and all 4 cameras are on Vince, pouting on his bed. So upset. He's so upset. And my jaw dropped. I said, does this mean that Ashley won? And I don't tweet anything. I don't post on our account until I know for sure.
Yeah.
And then Morgan, next thing you know, comes in and is like rubbing his back and whatever. And he's like, the order, not the day. And we have no clue what that means at this point.
What does that even mean?
Like, why does he keep saying this? And then finally, 2 of the cameras cut to Ashley in the kitchen, still wearing the outfit. Dancing. And I'm like, yes!
And they put it in the edit too. I saw this same exact clip was in the episode.
And it was accurate the way that they did it. He was literally sobbing to Morgan. He was like, it's okay. It's okay. And then, like, Ashley's like dancing, making a sandwich. She's just thinking about how much she wants to get changed after the comp, but she can't because she's got to go to the diary room. And that is probably one of the most accurate portrayals of what happened in the house that they've ever shown on the show. It was actually so fantastic for an Ashley fan. And
okay, now at this point in time, I'm going to talk about how prior to, especially at the beginning of the season, I was not the biggest fan of Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely did not. I thought Showergate was crazy. They swindled us.
Mm-hmm.
They told us it was 2 hours. What else am I supposed to think about somebody who takes 2-hour showers?
And that is also what is so evil and proves our point about not turning the feeds on for days. And I think it's because they wanted to hide something. And I don't remember what it was at this point. Was it Rachel that was hidden? I don't know. She was on the premiere.
Yeah.
They wanted to hide something. And I don't know what it was. And they didn't know going into it that Showergate would happen. But we had no idea how long this was. And literally Julie confirmed it was maybe 30 minutes.
I don't remember what week it was, but it was like much later. I just remember it was just a random piece of news that came across.
That it was confirmed?
I don't know if confirmed is the correct word to use, but I mean, like, the information, we talked about it. Yeah. We talked about it live and how I was like, okay.
Messy.
It's messy, but apparently it was only like 30 minutes or something like that, or maybe you said that, something like that. Either way, it came across our desk, and I was more lenient with her, but I wasn't really a super massive fan still. I wasn't like, okay, I don't really like her all that much, but like it was more like, okay, you haven't done anything. I don't really... I don't
she was
love,
under the radar.
I don't love a player that's not active.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm going to be more drawn to the person who's winning competitions. And yes, it's impressive. Obviously, I'm hope this isn't getting construed to make it seem, well, I mean, this is an arc. Like, I am this is happening throughout the entire season, but I'm going to be more drawn to someone who's winning competitions, especially early on when they still have stuff to prove and stuff like that. But as time has went on and as we settled into the final seats, I was pretty on board with Ashley winning the game if she was able to execute. Because at the end of the day, you can win 5,000 competitions and you can still leave. Keanu did the same thing.
Yeah.
He has to. You have to win when it matters.
Yes, and she absolutely
and
did.
And she beat Vince fair and square this competition, and that most definitely pushed me. Once she won, I was like, okay, I hope Ashley wins now, because I want to see if she beats Morgan. That's the ticket. That's when you're winning when it matters. You're making your move because she knows that she can't win against her.
Yeah.
But she can use her words to win against Vince.
And that's what we'll definitely
and
see.
We'll get into that
but
once we get to part 3.
I think to your point, one of the biggest flaws of this season is that our winner was severely under-edited. Like, I didn't see that much of her.
Well, because she didn't do much.
The problem is that she was constantly doing things.
But it was all
when
social.
when you're playing such a social,
yes.
and I will also say strategic game in that way, it is not very entertaining or dynamic for television.
Yes.
But in every conversation I had with you on air, off air, with my family, whoever watches it, it was like, oh, this person's getting out and this person. I can't believe Ashley's not on the block. And blah, 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 blah. And I can't believe Ashley's still there. And one of the biggest points of that was, why in the world, when it was Ashley versus Will, would a house eliminate Will, who is, and I love Will, very funny guy. He's not winning this game. He's not winning comps. His knee, he's injured.
He's injured.
And there's no reason for any of these house guests to want to eliminate the guy that they would 1000% win against, if not for her ability to manipulate people. And I feel like that wasn't pointed out enough during the edit, during the show, during the season. But the thing is it is very hard, in my opinion, to really showcase that when it's all seemingly passive. Yeah. Her ability to manipulate people, and it only really started to come to the surface when there were just less people. Because, and even still, there, of course, they're showing Morgan, who now probably holds a record for the most amount of wins, is amongst the most wins. She was, is a new record holder for never once being eligible, or like, she was safe the entire endgame during the jury phase. There was not a single moment where she could be on the block or was even thought of to be put on the block. And so she's a legend in her own right. But it was much more dynamic to show that gameplay than Ashley's. And so, I mean, you turned around on her then, and you're approaching this endgame where there's a couple, like, I wouldn't be mad about Ashley winning. And I feel like a lot of the casual viewers are not seeing that.
And that is exactly where my point lies.
Yeah.
Yes. When you're watching the show, there should be some level of action, but Big Brother is a social experiment. Mm-hmm. We are forgetting the core, one of the core pillars of what the game is about, and it's just, I mean, like, I do videography and photography, and the most important thing is action. There has to be action. And so if it's all social, there's nothing to broadcast. And unfortunately, Ashley fell victim to that. But I am a simple man, and I enjoy hype moments and aura. Mm-hmm. And Ashley beat Vince on the biggest stage in the entire season, 1v1, and now she's on to part 3.
Yeah.
She's played a great social game, and it's hard to deny that, and now she has to face Morgan, and I'm sad.
And I need to mention, say what you will about the season. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, you cannot accuse this season of not being entertaining, because we sat here recapping BB26 knowing that Chelsea was going to win. At this point, I don't know about you. There was Cam that won nothing. He had a social game to the extent that Ava did, where it's like, I'm kind of friends with everybody, but it wasn't. Ava had more strategy.
Do you think that Mackenzie would have evicted Chelsea?
Well, she didn't.
Wait. Oh yeah, she did win final.
She did win final. Exactly.
I forgot.
And that is the only, because it was Chelsea
and Cam
versus Mackenzie in the end, which means that either because Mackenzie had Chelsea goggles, and Mackenzie was always going to bring Chelsea, and Chelsea, doesn't matter who she brought, she was winning. And so we go into the finale knowing who's going to win.
Well, true, but
I'm also saying this a year later.
Yes, that, and the fact that this would be a completely different conversation if Mackenzie wasn't not the smartest person in the world.
She didn't understand the game entirely, and I remember there was some aspect of Chelsea manipulating Mackenzie by giving her misinformation, which was totally fine for gameplay. But we are finally sat.
We're at the last part, the final competition, or yes, this is this is part 3. We're doing part 3.
One more comment.
Comment.
Because you didn't watch BB25.
Yes.
Pretty much the final 3 were Matt, Jag, and Bowie Jane.
Yes. I remember we talked about this. I
knew that the finale, it was really going to be between Matt and Jag. And the thing is, and again, them as people, this is them as players that I'm talking about. I could care less between the two of them who won at this point in the finale. They both equally deserved it, and in my head, they both equally didn't deserve it. I didn't really care for them too much. There were other players that I liked watching more. So I don't know if this is the opinion of many, but in 25 we had 2 people. It's a toss-up. I don't care who wins because I don't care. In BB26, we sat down for the finale pretty much knowing that Chelsea was going to be the winner.
Yeah.
We are sitting down for BB27, and in part 3, there are 2 incredible, powerful, beautiful women.
Yes.
That are going head to head. And I don't know who's going to win. And I don't care because they are both so deserving. I'm getting chills talking about them. Yes. A beautiful woman is going to win
Big Brother
part
guaranteed.
3. Big Brother guaranteed. And I'm crisscrossed in the middle of my living room. Mm-hmm. Like, I was the same way during the 21 Pilots album release a couple weeks ago, where I'm just like looking like, hello, big eyes. I'm so excited. They named it BBPD, and that's my only note on that.
It was the police department, and it was the same thing that they've done for the past 2 years.
And I wish it was the scales.
Maybe 3. I don't know if the scales were in 24. I have to remember. Wait, 24 was Cookout, right?
No, 24 was
that
Taylor's season. 23 was Cookout
23
season.
was Cookout. I don't remember, actually. Now that's where my memory gets fuzzy. Anyways, so, we have 10 minutes left. And this is one episode, by the way, guys.
There's so much to
There's
discuss.
so much to discuss. Part 3.
Part 3 is quite simple.
Massive stakes. Same thing as always. 3 statements from a house guest. Odd one out. Got to pick the odd one out.
They filmed this in the most echoey room they could possibly find, by the way.
Let's revisit your point from earlier about lack of sleep.
So
I most definitely could tell. Morgan, let's since we do have 10 minutes left, let's rip the bandage off. Morgan bombed.
Loses hard. So yeah, they have to, it's like A, B, or C. They have to choose whatever. And Morgan got like a question right, and then Ashley just dominated the whole thing.
She got 1 right, and then she got like 3 wrong, and then she got like another one.
And it was not
like
too
2 to 5.
Too far from Vince, where she didn't crash out like him at all, so actually very far from it. I'll fix that. But in the sense where she didn't regain composure, and Ashley didn't once lose composure.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it's important to note that Vince was a misery these last few days, and the two of them were just up. And Ashley,
Vince lost Morgan the game.
and I genuinely think
can
so.
be said.
Indirectly, like, she didn't sleep at all. She didn't prepare for the not like you could study before, but the least you could do is get a good night's sleep. And Ashley, she was chilling. She was practicing her speeches all day, and then she went to bed. And she was locked in more than anyone else has ever been locked in before.
As she should.
And she wins part 3.
And she convincingly, she beat her before they literally were like, hey, it was 7 or 9 questions. I don't know. It was either 7 or 9. And she won like before they could get to the last question, because there would have been enough questions for Morgan. I think it was 7. And it was like 4 or 5-1 or something like that.
Something around there.
I don't whatever math it would be.
They called it early because there was no coming back from that.
It would have been impossible.
And there was no point in like kicking Morgan while she was down. Ashley just dominated.
And
now she's got to make a decision.
Yes. That's massive. Just want to finish off my thoughts about Ashley, because I had stopped myself because we hadn't gotten to this point in the episode yet. This is just another moment in which Ashley is once again proving it doesn't take much to prove that you deserve to, well, it takes a lot to prove that you deserve to win, but it doesn't take that many competition wins. I think that it is a very conflated statistic.
Yeah.
That people, yes, it is a very, 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 very important part of the game. Do not get it twisted. Ashley didn't not win anything. That's not something that Cam can say.
Yeah.
And even if she won 2 of the most important competitions in her entire, if you think about it, think about it from a week 1 perspective. If she didn't win the veto, she was going home.
Yeah.
She was going to go home. And I can say that with confidence.
Absolutely.
Because who else are you evicting in that situation?
You have so little information.
You don't know anything about anybody. Somebody just took a 2-hour shower. That spells the end of your Big Brother career, bud. better get week 1 exit. Speeding up a little bit. So Ashley wins. Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Super crazy. I'm at the edge of my seat. Ashley is decided. She has a decision, but she's already decided. She knows that the smartest thing to do here, just like everybody else watching, is to get rid of Morgan. And she does exactly that. She needs to get rid of Morgan. That's the only way she wins the game. And she did it.
The chills return.
Yeah, that was
and very important to note,
Morgan was not mad about this at all.
She handled it with grace. And because she, at this point, she has to know there is no way that anyone wins against her. She just absolutely dominated the game, and she has to. She recognizes that. She takes the L with class.
Biggest L ever taken.
Yep.
Completely on the chin. Props to Morgan once again, proving one of my favorite players. I can confident. Who would have thought I would be saying that in the end?
Yeah. I mean, I always liked her. I liked her from the jump, and then there was a period of time where I didn't.
Yeah.
And then she really just dominated the game, and I mean, like you said, now she's one of the best players to never win.
Yep.
She joins
without a doubt
the jury. Which I wish we had more time to fully dissect.
That's true. The questions and stuff like that.
That the jury is shook to see Morgan, because it is clear that they all made their minds up that Morgan was going to win. However, they all went in, and it's funny. It's kind of just like the blockbuster, where it's like, whoever ends up winning the blockbuster, but it's more whoever loses that. I think at this point they all made it up in their mind pretty much that Morgan is the winner, and if she doesn't win, it's who got her out. And I could tell who the winner was from the second that Rachel squealed, finding out that Morgan was gone and it was Ashley who was the one to do it. And we could dissect this again later. If we want to even jump back to it.
I'm sure that we could maybe do a little brief section about like their questioning and stuff next week.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot there. But I mean, at the end of the day, that, and I mean, their answers weren't unexpected at all. Like,
well, except for the house.
Except for the house. Well,
had
that's
no
true.
clue
Yes.
that Ashley was the jury knew that she was a lawyer at this point. Vince was shook. Morgan was shook.
Yeah.
And nobody knew how good of a public speaker Ashley would be.
She's
just going,
she's
going,
an
going.
attorney.
And like the first question she's asked, she's just going and going and going. And Julie, and I love that Julie had to cut her off because she had so much material she ran out the clock.
You want to be ran out.
Exactly.
In the final 2 chairs.
And it was funny where her very first jury question she answered, and Julie had to remind her that she has a final plea because she just was going, and she was just so prepared. And Vince had nothing. Vince didn't even dress for the finale. Bro was just wearing, again, the same beanie, just whatever sweater he had. He wasn't
do that.
You dress for the job that you want, and he dressed for no job at all.
You're about to see Julie Chen in the flesh, and you are wearing a bum fit. And you expect me to take you seriously.
And she looks amazing.
She
just like
she looks amazing.
We witnessed an unaliving on TV.
That's very true.
And she just slayed the entire time.
And
long story short,
she won 6-1.
One pity vote.
As we wind down our time here on the Diary Room.
I wish we had more hours, Chris.
I'm gonna get emotional. This is really sad. I mean, like, this isn't the end, but this is the end of Big Brother 27.
We have a winner.
We have Ashley Hollis.
Oh my gosh.
I use the word Josh archetype not as a something to be like a bad thing.
Yeah.
But as a status symbol, because I think there's something to be said, being able to be in Ashley and Josh's situations were very different for sure, but I have no words.
It makes me want to go back and watch that season. What was that, 19?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never paid attention to gameplay as much as I feel like I had the chance to this season.
Yes.
And a little bit last season too. And that's why I have such an appreciation for this win. Also, as someone who would never, ever be able to rely on comp wins if I was in that house, I would have to play a game more similar to hers. And I don't think that is easily replicated.
Yes.
And it was incredible to watch. It was an honor to cover this season, and it was entertaining through and through. Yep. As weird as the first couple of weeks were, they kept us on the edge of our seats the entire time up until the last second, which we're at right now.
We are
our last second.
The last second has concluded right here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This has been the Diary Room. My name is just Chris, and I am still with. Hi, Mo.
Below.
Unfortunately, we have wound down, but quick special announcement. We will be back next week for a recap and more information with what we will be doing with this time slot for the rest of the semester. But unfortunately, our time has run thin because of the amount of yap that we've had today. Thank you for coming and listening. Do not show up next week if you want, because there will be more, and there's more to talk about.
More recaps, more details.
More Diary Room.
More Diary Room.
90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This has been the Diary Room. We will see you next week. Thank you for coming and listening. Bye-bye. Bye.